The Galaxy Council chamber was filled with light. Dozens of alien species sat in a great circle, their voices echoing in arrogance. They laughed, they mocked, and they shared stories of power. Among them sat the oldest beings, the elders, their eyes heavy with warning. One elder raised his hand and silence fell. He spoke slowly, his voice like a shadow in the hall. "Do not underestimate the humans," he warned. "They may seem weak, but weakness can hide a storm. They may appear fragile, but inside burns a fire we cannot measure." The council erupted in laughter. One tall, scaled alien shouted, "Humans? Those tiny creatures from a blue planet? They are nothing. They are ants." Another alien commander joined in. "We have ships larger than their cities. We have weapons that could burn their oceans. They cannot even protect their colonies." The elder lowered his head, his voice shaking. "You do not understand," he said. "Humanity grows stronger when ignored. They rise when crushed. They fight when all hope is lost. Their strength is not in their numbers, but in their spirit. Remember my words." But no one listened. The chamber filled with mocking laughter again. The elders' warnings were dismissed like old myths. Far away, on a small human colony near the edge of the galaxy, life was quiet. Children played in dusty streets. Miners worked in deep tunnels. Families cooked simple meals under the glow of artificial suns. No one there knew that alien eyes were watching them. Above their skies, hidden ships floated like silent predators. Inside one of those ships, an alien commander prepared his troops. His face was filled with arrogance, his voice sharp and cold. "Tonight," he said, "we remind the galaxy that humans are nothing. We will strike, we will take prisoners, and we will show the council that their warning was foolish. Humans are prey, not warriors." The alien fall. He descended without warning. Fire lit up the night sky. Explosions shook the ground as humans ran in fear. Houses collapsed, towers burned, and the colony's defense alarms screamed in panic, but something unexpected happened. Instead of surrendering, the humans fought back. Miners grabbed their tools. Children carried messages through smoke. Doctors turned clinics into battlefield shelters. The alien soldiers were shocked. One shouted, "Why do they resist so fiercely? This is only a colony. They should be begging for mercy." In the chaos, a small human militia gathered. Old rifles, homemade explosives, and courage were their only weapons. They formed a line at the colony square, faces covered in soot and determination. The alien commander watched from above, his confidence cracking. "These humans, they do not fight like prey," he whispered. As the battle raged, a young human girl, no more than 12, carried water to the fighters. She looked up at the burning sky and whispered, "We will not bow." Her words spread like fire through the crowd. Men and women repeated them. "We will not bow. We will not bow." The aliens grew frustrated. What was supposed to be an easy conquest had turned into resistance. Their losses mounted, their pride wounded. Still, the commander ordered a final assault, but deep in his heart, a seed of fear had been planted. Hours later, the alien fleet pulled back. They claimed victory, but it felt hollow. Too many soldiers had fallen, too much pride had been broken, and the humans were still standing. The colony was scarred but not destroyed. Fires burned, but voices of defiance still rose through the smoke. From the shadows, an elder's words echoed across the galaxy. "You ignored them," he whispered, "but you will not be able to ignore them for long." As dawn broke on the colony, survivors gathered. Their eyes carried sorrow, but also a strange fire. They buried their dead, they comforted their children, and they swore silently that the next time they would be ready. In the stars above, alien ships retreated in silence, but whispers began to spread through every corner of the galaxy. Whispers of humans who did not kneel, whispers of humans who fought with nothing but courage, whispers of a storm that was rising, unseen and unstoppable. The council still laughed, but somewhere in the deepest part of their hearts a quiet unease began to grow. The prophecy had only just begun, and humanity was far from finished. The alien fleet returned to their empire in silence. The commander who once mocked humanity now walked with shame. Reports of human resistance spread faster than light across the galaxy. Every species whispered the same question: how could a colony of miners hold back trained warriors? The council gathered once more. The elders sat in silence, their faces grave. One elder spoke. "Do you see now? Even without armies, humans stand. Imagine what happens when they prepare, when they build, when they unite." But the council dismissed him again. One alien senator sneered, "A single colony does not change the galaxy. Humans only delayed their defeat. We will strike again, and this time we will burn Earth itself." Far away, on Earth, humanity mourned. News of the colony's suffering reached every home. People wept. But their sorrow turned quickly into fire. Factories that once built cars now forged weapons. Universities that once taught theory now trained engineers for war machines. Farmers, scientists, workers, and children all carried the same silent vow. We will never bow again. In secret bunkers, human leaders gathered, maps spread across tables, voices low but fierce. They spoke of strategy, of unity, of survival. General Harris, his face scarred from old wars, whispered, "They think we are weak. That is their mistake. Let us make it their last mistake." Meanwhile, in the alien empire, cracks began to form. Soldiers who had fought humans could not forget the fire in human eyes. Some whispered in fear. They fought as if death itself was nothing. How can we defeat such madness? Others dismissed it, but doubt was born. On the human colony that survived the attack, a new symbol rose, a flag stitched from torn clothes, planted on the ashes of a broken building. It carried no words, only a single handprint in red paint. That handprint became legend. Across human worlds, the symbol spread, a promise of defiance. But the aliens were not done. A massive armada gathered at the edge of human space. Thousands of ships, weapons charged, ready to erase humanity once and for all. Their commanders boasted, "We will crush their spirit, their colonies will burn, and the council will know we were right." Yet humans were not idle. In hidden shipyards under oceans and deep in asteroids, massive vessels were being built. Not the largest in the galaxy, not the most advanced, but filled with human creativity and ruthless efficiency. Each ship was a beast of steel, each weapon designed not just to kill, but to terrify. Night after night, human engineers worked without sleep. Children carried parts, mothers welded steel, fathers trained in secret drills. Even the old gave their wisdom. Every human, young or old, became part of the storm. And then came the night of the second invasion. Alien war drums echoed across space as the armada moved forward. But when they reached the border of human territory, they found something they never expected. A single human ship stood waiting, small compared to their giants, dark and silent. The alien commander laughed. "One ship? Is this a joke?" But when the human ship lit its engines, the laughter died. From its hull, hundreds of drones spread like a swarm. Each drone carried explosives and strange weapons unknown to alien design. The swarm moved with terrifying precision, cutting through alien shields like knives through paper. Explosions rocked the fleet, entire cruisers torn apart in seconds. The alien commander screamed, "Impossible! This cannot be human technology." But it was, born from desperation, from unity, from rage. The first clash ended with the alien fleet retreating once more, and across the galaxy, fear took root. A single human ship had broken the pride of an empire. Back on Earth, crowds gathered in silence as the news spread. No one cheered, no one danced. They only looked to the stars with cold determination. They knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had ignored them, mocked them, attacked them. But now the galaxy would learn. Humanity does not kneel. Humanity rises. Humanity fights. And when humanity fights, even empires tremble. The galaxy was restless. Every corner echoed with whispers of the human victory. How could a single ship break an entire alien armada? How could miners, farmers, and engineers create weapons that rivaled ancient empires? In the council chambers, unease filled the air. The arrogant voices that once mocked humanity now spoke in hushed tones. One senator leaned close to another. If they can do this with so little, what will they do when they rise in full strength? The elders sat quietly, their eyes heavy with the weight of prophecy. One elder finally said, "This is only the beginning. You ignored the fire. Now the fire spreads." Meanwhile, on Earth, something extraordinary unfolded. Human scientists worked in silence under the oceans and in the shadows of mountains. They were not just building ships. They were rewriting the laws of war. Small vessels fitted with experimental drives, drones controlled by thought, weapons forged from elements pulled deep from dying stars. Technology that aliens believed impossible was now a reality in human hands. But humans were not only preparing weapons, they were building alliances. In the darkness of uncharted space, a group of oppressed alien races reached out. The Shan. He had suffered under the same empire that had attacked humanity. For generations, they had been silent, broken, enslaved. But when they saw humans fight, when they saw humans bleed yet stand, hope awakened, a secret pact was formed. Aliens once enslaved whispered 3 words, "We follow humanity." The empire watched nervously. Reports flowed in. Human colonies no longer weak, supply lines heavily defended, enemy fleets ambushed by unknown forces. Fear spread in their ranks. One commander spat in anger. "They are too small, too young, too reckless, yet we bleed more from them than from the great wars of old." On the colony that first resisted, survivors became legends. Children who had carried water now trained as soldiers. The young girl who once whispered, "We will not bow," grew into a symbol, her face painted on banners across the stars, her words now a rallying cry. Everywhere humans repeated them, "We will not bow." The second invasion failure shook the empire to its core. In secret halls, alien leaders argued. "Do we crush them with all our fleets?" one shouted. "Or do we negotiate before it is too late?" another whispered. But pride poisoned their judgment. They chose war again. This time they gathered the largest armada in centuries. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier. It was not just to destroy humanity. It was to erase their very memory from the stars. Humans knew it was coming, but instead of fear, there was calm determination. General Harris stood before his commanders, his voice steady. "They think we will run. They think we will beg. But this time, they will learn what it means when humanity stands together." The night of reckoning came. The alien fleet darkened the skies of human space. Thousands of warships stretched across the void like a sea of fire. Every star seemed to vanish behind their shadows. The council believed victory was certain, and they had not yet seen what humans had hidden. As the armada advanced, hundreds of human ships rose from the void, not giants, but sharp, fast, and deadly. They did not move like fleets, they moved. The galaxy had changed. No longer did anyone laugh at the mention of humanity. Their names spread through the stars like fire, whispered with both fear and hope. Oppressed races painted human flags on their walls. Secret rebels carried human songs in their hearts. But inside the empire, rage burned hotter than ever. The council demanded blood. They could not accept that a young species had humiliated their fleets twice. Armies were gathered, spies were sent, assassins dispatched to silence human leaders. Yet every plan met resistance. Every move seemed already anticipated by humanity. In the dark void between stars, human intelligence networks spread. Small ships carrying no weapons carried messages faster than light. Information became their weapon. The aliens discovered too late that humans were not just fighters. They were thinkers, planners, hunters. General Harris sat in a hidden command bunker. Before him floated holograms of enemy fleets, supply lines, and weak points. His eyes were sharp, his voice cold. They believe they still control the war, but now we will show them what it means when humanity takes the fight to their door. The first human strike came without warning, not against warships, not against fortresses, but against the arteries of the empire. Carriers vanished in explosions. Fuel depots erupted into fire. Trade routes fell silent. Entire fleets starved of supplies, left helpless in deep space. The empire roared in anger, but they could not catch the shadows striking from every side. Whispers grew in alien markets and cities. Humans are everywhere, people said. They move unseen. They strike like lightning. They cannot be stopped. Fear spread faster than any weapon. Even soldiers of the empire looked over their shoulders. Every dark corner, every shadow in the void made them flinch. Meanwhile, humans revealed something the galaxy never expected, the construction of the first Titan-class warship. It rose from the ocean of Earth like a steel mountain. Its hull carried scars from meteors. Its engines glowed with untested power. Not the largest ship in the galaxy, but the most terrifying, because it was built not just with technology, but with desperation and rage. Every piece forged with a vow. Never again shall humanity kneel. The day the Titan-class ship left Earth, Billions watched in silence. Children saluted, workers wept, soldiers raised their fists. One voice carried through the broadcast. This ship does not carry conquest. It carries survival, and with it, the galaxy will know our name. The Empire tried to answer. They gathered their strongest fleet around their capital world, an ocean of ships, bristling with weapons, determined to crush the human threat once and for all. But the humans did not attack head-on. They struck where no one expected. Deep inside the Empire, they found a hidden prison world, millions of slaves, stolen from dozens of races, worked and died in silence. Until humanity came. The Titan-class ship arrived in orbit. Its cannons thundered. Shields of the prison broke. Human marines descended like fire. They tore down chains, destroyed guards, and raised the human flag over the camps. For the first time in centuries, the enslaved saw freedom. And it came with the mark of humanity. The galaxy trembled. This was not just war anymore. This was revolution. Oppressed species joined humanity in secret waves, smuggled weapons, stolen ships, even whispers of rebellion. Everywhere the Empire looked, their control weakened, and always behind the spark was a human hand. In the council chamber, fear replaced arrogance. One senator cried out, "They are spreading like wildfire. They are not just fighting us, they are turning the galaxy itself against us." The elders lowered their heat. Eads one whispered, "The storm has broken, and now no wall can hold it." On Earth, General Harris looked at the stars, his voice calm, yet filled with steel. "They thought we were prey, they thought we were weak, but now they will learn the truth. Humanity does not wait for war to come, humanity brings the war to them." The Titan-class ship turned its massive hull toward the heart of the Empire. Its engines burned like suns, and every soldier aboard knew the time for defense was over. The time for humanity's vengeance had begun. The Empire bled. World after world whispered rebellion. Chains were broken. Banners of resistance rose, and at the center of it all was a single word that shook every corner of the galaxy. Humanity, the Titan-class warship, had freed the slaves of the prison world. News of that act traveled faster than light. It was no longer just war, it was liberation, and the oppressed began to rally. They looked to Earth, to the humans who once were mocked as weak, and they said, "If they can rise, so can we." In secret caverns and hidden asteroid bases, new armies gathered. Alien rebels trained side by side with human soldiers. Claws held rifles, tentacles gripped controls. Voices of a dozen species echoed the same vow. "We will not bow." But the Empire was not yet broken. In their capital, fury burned like wildfire. The Emperor himself rose from his throne, his voice like thunder. "Bring me their worlds, burn their oceans, erase their name from history." He unleashed a decree of total war, entire fleets sent to hunt humanity across the stars, entire legions marching to crush rebellion before it grew. Yet every time the Empire struck, humans were there first. They predicted attacks, they ambushed fleets, they sabotaged factories. It was as if humanity could see the future, but the truth was simpler. Humans had learned the Empire's arrogance, their habits, their pride, and pride made them predictable. General Harris stood with the leaders of new allies, a tall reptilian warrior, a scarred insectoid general, a fragile winged priestess. Together they planned something unthinkable, not defense, not ambush, but a direct strike at the Empire's core. Harris pointed at the map, his voice sharp as steel. "They believe we will always hide, but now we strike at their heart. We will burn the symbol of their power, their fortress world of Draction." Draction, the jewel of the Empire, a world covered in black towers, ringed with defenses stronger than mountains. No enemy had ever touched it. To even speak of attacking it was madness. But humanity was not bound by fear of madness. The Titan-class ship led the fleet. Beside it flew dozens of smaller human vessels, and with them came rebel ships, patched together from stolen parts, carrying fighters who would rather die free than live enslaved. When the fleet emerged from the void above Draxion, the Empire's defenders laughed. "This is suicide," they said, but the laughter ended in fire. Human strategy unfolded like a blade. While the Titan drew the main fleet into battle, swarms of drones slipped past defenses. They struck command centers, silenced communications, and tore open supply hubs. Inside the chaos, rebel ships broke through the skies of Draxion, and for the first time in history, the capital of the Empire felt invasion. Explosions lit the horizon, towers fell, citizens screamed as the war they had once ignored now burned their own streets. The Emperor's voice roared across channels, "Crush them, destroy them." But his orders met confusion. His fleets were broken, his armies scattered, his people afraid. In the middle of the battle, the Titan's great cannons turned toward the Empire's grand palace. The symbol of centuries of dominance, a single shot thundered across the world. The palace walls cracked, its towers crumbled, and in that moment, every species in the galaxy saw what they never thought possible, the Empire's hees. Art was bleeding, but humanity did not claim the world. They did not raise their flag in conquest. Instead, General Harris spoke across every broadcast, his voice steady and cold. "We do not come for conquest. We do not come for thrones. We come to end chains. We come to end fear. The Empire thought us weak. Now they will see we are the storm." Across the galaxy, hope exploded like fire. On slave worlds, uprisings began. On distant colonies, rebels shouted the human vow. On forgotten planets, children drew the human flag in the dust. And everywhere, one truth became clear. Humanity had become more than a species. They had become a symbol. The Empire reeled, their pride shattered, their control fading. But in the shadows, the Emperor prepared something darker, a weapon long hidden, a weapon forged not for war, but for annihilation. He whispered to his generals, "If humanity wishes to be the storm, then we will show them what it means to face the void itself." And as fleets limped home and rebels cheered in victory, a new shadow stirred in the depths of the Empire, something ancient, something monstrous, waiting to be unleashed. The Empire was wounded. Their fortress world of Draxion lay scarred, their palace in ruins, their fleets scattered. But wounded beasts are dangerous, and the Empire was no different. In the silence of deep space, far from the eyes of the Council, a secret chamber opened. Inside that chamber, ancient machines stirred, buried for centuries, built in secret, a weapon older than the Empire itself. It was not just a ship, it was something more. A living engine of destruction, fused with alien minds long dead, powered by stars consumed. The Emperor stood before it, his eyes filled with madness. "They call themselves the Storm," he whispered, "but we will unleash the void." Word of this weapon never reached the Council. Not even the elders knew of it. But spies carried whispers to human ears, a shadow moving in the dark, a weapon that could swallow worlds. General Harris gathered his commanders, his voice grave. "They are due. Desperate now, desperation breeds monstrosities. We must prepare for something beyond war." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, rebellion grew. Slave worlds rose in fire. Empires within the Empire broke apart. But with every victory, fear grew as well. Whispers of the Emperor's weapons spread. Children asked their parents, "Is it true? Can the void eat planets?" And no parent had the courage to answer. On Earth, scientists worked without rest. They built new defenses, weapons that bent light, drones that thought for themselves, shields that sang like thunder. But Harris knew that steel alone would not win this war. "Courage is our weapon," he told his people, "and unity is our shield. No void can consume a species that refuses to bow." Then came the day the void weapon awoke. The stars dimmed as it rose from its cradle. It was larger than any fleet, darker than the black between galaxies. It did not sail through space, it consumed it. Planets trembled in its wake, suns flickered, and with its birth came silence. Entire systems went dark, communications cut, worlds swallowed in shadow. The first human scouts to see it never returned. Their final message carried only one word: run. The Empire roared in triumph. "This is our vengeance," they cried. "Let the galaxy fear us once more." But among the oppressed, hope did not die. Instead, voices whispered, "If anyone can stand against it, it is humanity." When the weapon moved toward human space, the Titan-class ship stood ready. Its crew stared into the void, fear burning in their hearts. But Harris's voice rose above the silence. "They want us to run. They want us to break. But we will not. Today we do not fight only for Earth. We fight for every world that dreams of freedom. If the void comes, then humanity will meet it head-on. The battle began like no other. The void weapon swallowed missiles, shattered fleets, burned play, nets with its gaze, but the humans did not fight like others. They attacked in waves, not to destroy, but to learn. Every strike, every sacrifice revealed a weakness. And in the chaos, human engineers worked faster than thought, adapting, evolving, changing their tactics in the very heart of battle. Rebel fleets joined the fight. Ships patched with stolen parts hurled themselves at the monster. One by one they fell, but with each fall they opened a path. Voices echoed across channels, alien and human alike. For freedom, for humanity, for all of us. Inside the Titan, alarms screamed. The hull cracked, fire spread, but Harris stood unshaken. "Hold the line," he commanded. "Every second we live, the galaxy has a chance." And then, in the middle of destruction, a discovery was made. The void weapon fed on fear. It consumed despair. But where there was defiance, where there was unity, its power faltered. Sensors showed its core pulsing erratically every time humans refused to yield. Harris realized the truth. They built this weapon from the ashes of slaves, from minds broken in chains, but we are not broken. We will never be broken. The Titan charged its cannons one last time, its engines burning like dying stars. Every ship, every rebel, every human vessel poured their last strength into one final assault. The galaxy watched in silence as the storm clashed with the void. Light and darkness collided, space itself trembled, and in that moment humanity roared louder than the void. The void weapon loomed above the stars. It devoured light, silenced fleets, and left only ashes in its path. The Empire watched in pride, believing victory was certain, but what they did not see was the storm that still raged in human hearts. On the Titan-class warship, chaos filled the corridors. Fire spread, alarms screamed, metal groaned under crushing pressure. Yet the crew did not run. Every soldier, every engineer, every child who had once carried water on the colonies now stood ready. They remembered the vow. "We will not bow." General Harris stood at the command deck, his uniform torn, his face burned. Around him, the last of humanity's fleet fought like cornered wolves. Ships shattered, drones burned, rebels screamed into the void. And still, they did not yield. The void weapon unleashed a wave of darkness. Entire squadrons vanished. But something strange began to happen. The more humanity resisted, the weaker the void seemed to grow. Its great tendrils flickered. Its engines pulsed unevenly. It fed on fear, but humanity offered defiance. It fed on despair, but humanity offered unity. Rebel fleets rallied. Aliens who had once been slaves shouted the human vow. "We will not bow." Their voices thundered across comms. Even in death they fought with fire. Their courage became humanity's shield. Inside the Titan, human scientists discovered the truth. The core of the void weapon was not just energy, it was a prison. Thousands of minds broken and enslaved, their agony twisted into fuel. The weapon was not only a machine, it was torment made flesh. Harris made his decision. He knew they could not destroy it with fire alone. They had to free it. "Prepare the Nova Strike," he ordered. A weapon that would tear open space itself, not to kill, but to release the souls trapped inside. The Titan charged its cannons. Its engines glowed brighter than suns. The crew whispered prayers. Across the galaxy, billions watched. The storm was about to strike the void. The void weapon roared, its power rising. The Emperor laughed in madness. "End them, erase them. They are nothing." But the elders shook their heads. One whispered, "They are not nothing. They are everything you fear." The Titan fired. A beam of burning light pierced the heart of the void. For a moment, silence reigned. Then the screams began. Not of victory, not of defeat, but of release. The enslaved minds inside the void weapon cried out. Chains broke. Agony ended. The great machine convulsed, shattered, and collapsed into dust. The galaxy trembled. The Empire's greatest weapon was gone, and humanity still stood. On Draxion, rebels rose in unstoppable,